Good morning, everyone. Ti Dave here. So I'm gonna explain how this works, okay? Um, about this whole thing I've been posting about our implants needed. No, they're not needed, but they're used in some instances for research, training, and development, and stuff like that. Nanotech is not needed either. Nanotech is used to amplify it, but nanotech's being used for research, training, and development for human augmentation. Human augmentation and mind control are two different things. However, while they have the nanotech in your body, of course, they're using it to amplify. Metals will amplify this weapons because if you put a fork in the microwave and hit it with the radiation, it's gonna heat up. So if you have metals in your body and you're being hit with streams of radiation to control your brain, any kind of frequency is going to heat metals up too, and make amplify the effects of the mind control. But what they're trying, in many NSA whistleblowers, John St. Clair Aqua, I could go into a bunch of them, Karen Melton Stewart, Duncan, Nick Bajic, I think that's how you say his name, Dr. William Deagle, Dr. Fred Bell. All these people admit that none of that's needed and it hasn't been needed. So I'm trying to get the focus on, okay, so you may have stuff found in your body, but it's not needed. Okay, so it hasn't been needed for a long time. It's being used for transhumanism and human augmentation. And I'm going to explain how this works, and then I'm going to go into some good information I found. But after I explain how it works and go to this information I found, I'm going to start with the benefits first, the advice this person gives, because I want to focus on positive things. Because people say, well, you can't tell people that they can be controlled by their brain and no implant needed because if you tell them that, then they're gonna just think they're helpless. Well, you're not helpless, and I've said ways, the heavy metal detox still helps, multitasking, music, controlled breathing. That's why that stuff works when you're being attacked, is because you're not being attacked by nothing in your body. You're being attacked with extremely low frequency, fabricated, falsified stream of energy straight to your brain. Um, so anyway, it says, contractors use an exascale remote neural monitor supercomputer via computer to brain to computer interface, electronic brain to brain interface, and brain to cloud interface. They're targeting their victims with cerebral cortex with a bidirectional fabricated falsified bit of stream of electromagnetic low frequency waves specifically tuned to the victim's brainwave signature via a stream of extra low frequency waves called information injection feedback loop using fabricated falsified brainwave signals causing strokes and other stuff. Point, point at which the trauma-based mind control suffers all these ailments, artificial induced disease, adrenaline damage. It's an important metric in the training, research, and development of how to more effectively assassinate people with this silent and slow kill technology. A computer multiplexer routes the signal to a tire, satellite, or mobile platform. Entire satellite mobile platform relays the signal to the digital receiver, similar to how a cell phone works. Only the digital receiver is not a cell phone, it's your brain. The digital receiver is tracked and pinpointed in real time, neural signature, whatever you want to say, just like a cell phone. Except the digital receiver is not a phone, it's a human brain. The brain of the mind control victim has been digitalized by the nanotechnology adhering to his transmitters in his brain. But nanotech is not even necessary for mind control technology to work properly, just necessary for training, research, and development in a real world environment using innocent women, children's guinea pigs. And the reason I say it, nanotech is being used for more deeper experimentation. Okay, so before nanotech came out, they've been doing this stuff for, I know nanotechnology's been out a while, but what I'm saying is they don't need it. They hijack your own body and use it against you with frequencies, and they know what frequencies do what. They know what hertz frequency or what size frequency to send to you to make you sleep, make your leg jump, whatever. They can tap into your cerebral cortex and do all that. Okay, now the nanotech Of course, now nanotechnology is becoming popular and stuff, and they're spraying it everywhere, and they successfully got it in everybody. Of course, now they're going to see what else they can do with it. But it's not needed. It amplifies it. It makes it more effective. It makes it work more effective. Um, and from my understanding, Giordano said nanotech cannot be found in the body as of yet. Um, but I got in an argument with a friend of mine about implants, and he's telling everybody has implants, and that's not the case. And I can't get on here and lie to my people, and say, well, everybody's got implants. I just don't believe that. Um, so anyway, the nanotechnology speaks to and declodes the neurotransmitter. So what they're doing is while we're using nanotechnology for human augmentation and transhumanism, while we're in there, we may as well study the effects of mind control, even though we don't need it for mind control. We're going to study how much more games we can play now with the mind, and how quicker we can get a cognitive model of the brain of the target uh, complete. And I hope I'm making sense here. So they've been spraying for years with chemtrails, and nanotechnologies and everybody and all that. But it hasn't been needed for many years. And before everybody got all this stuff in there in 2020 and all that stuff, before all that stuff, years before, since the 90s, they've been targeting people. Okay, they don't they don't need nothing. Okay, this is top secret technology, and I'm about to go into patents and everything and prove this in this video. But I am going to start out on a positive note and tell you ways to fight this before I get into the information. So if you are not interested in how to fight this or what this person has to say, um, but just skip to the part where I'm showing the patents and stuff like that, and making the points I need to make. Okay, so let's get this right. Nanotech is used for human transhumanism, augmentation, and it's also used, which to say, speaks to, decodes transmitters in the victim's brain, allowing the cognitive reach to turn the brain of the victim their very own visual, verbal, auditive communication system after they mapped out the brain of the victim into a cognitive model, which they achieve by way of repetition, infliction of physical and psychological trauma. Okay, it says once again, nanotech is not necessary for mind control technologies to work problems, just necessary for training, research, development. Okay, so it amplifies it. So of course, in, instead of, for years they beamed the brain, they just got your neural signature or your DNA and they beamed it, and with whatever frequency they want to create whatever desired effect. Of course, now they got nanotech that they can program and that will make communication between your brain and all that even more effective and amplify it. You see what I'm saying? Implants, though, some targets have them, sometimes some don't. And that's facts. Okay, so okay. Only the trauma-managed mind control victim absorbs a stream of electromagnetic low-frequency brain that's tuned to the specific brainwave signature victim when the interface with the nanotechnology in the victim's brain. This is because only the victims possess that specific brainwave signature that the stream specifically tuned into. Other around the victim does not absorb the energy or feel its effects because they do not possess the same unique brainwave signature. So even though nanotech's amplifying it, it's using only the brain signature. But now they're using nanotechnology to lock onto your brain even more effective. You see what I'm saying? But the nanotech is not, uh, um, Giordano, and from what I've read, a lot of people have said it's not detectable in the body. Um, Take two cell phones and place them on the table next to each other. Dial a specific number. Only one phone rings because that phone possesses that specific resonance frequency for that number. You take two brains, put them together, and you beam one neural signature, one brain, one specific brain signature, brain print, and only that person's going to feel it. Same thing. They're using a fabricated or falsified stream of electromagnetic energy that contains a hidden carrier frequency. Okay. Now I want to show you this. I did a poll, two polls. I did one on X and Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Here, Gmail. Okay. All right. So I uploaded this to the drive. I'm gonna show you all the results of the poll. Um, And so here's the first poll. So we got 64% said not needed, used in some cases but not needed, 29%, and 7% said needed. Okay. What is everyone's opinion? 59% on Twitter said not needed, 9% said needed, used in some but not needed. So everybody's basically on the same page here. Um, okay, so all right, here we go. And I'm going to start this. This person says, I'm not a licensed physician, and we'll get into who this person is. I'm just trying to start with the positive, proactive stuff first, and then get into the patents and how this stuff works and all that. Now, I'm not telling you not to go get scanned. No, I'm not. I just try to get a ultrasound from somebody after you get scanned to confirm that there's actually stuff there. I am telling you to do that. Okay. And if you don't, and if you get scanned and don't have nothing, that don't mean you're not a target individual at all because they don't need nothing. Okay. Okay. But everybody has got the stuff in them from Smart Dust and Nanotech, and like I said, from my research, all that stuff is undetectable in the body. So, uh, um, unless you look up Bluetooth, if you have a, sometimes you can find the stuff if it's communicating by Bluetooth or um, radio frequency. But like I said, radio frequency, even radio frequency can come from anywhere. So unless you have a jammer in the room or something like that, and you got a totally controlled environment, and you make the person scanning, you prove that you're in a controlled environment where there's no frequency. Because any external frequency can act like it can be misread as coming from the body, especially with these scans. So ultrasound, always get ultrasound to confirm your implants. Okay. This person says a couple criteria should be met before indicating that a symptom is indicated of direct energy due exposure. Many of the symptoms listed further below when regarding direct energy should not present themselves as chronic or continuous in duration, but may come about fairly acutely in somewhat sudden instance. The same said symptoms should be also nearly completely alleviated almost instantly upon repositioning himself or affected area behind acceptable shield material. I'll disagree with this part, but there's good information in here. And Eric Carlstrom, uh, put this on his website and even said, well, the information's accurate, but there may be some 10% not good information. But Eric Carstrom just reads every article before he puts it on his site. The same set of symptoms be near completely and even alleviated almost instantly upon repositioning or affected areas are behind the shielding material. If neither one of the above conditions are met, the symptoms you're experiencing may be indicative of another ailment. It should be noted many of these symptoms are common to countless other ailments. So key here when related to DEWS is that symptoms can be virtually be stopped cold in a shielded environment location away from your usual routine path. Now I disagree with that, but moving does help sometimes if you're moving away and trying to dodge them from connecting to your brainwave. Remember, gang stalking, the point of gang stalking a lot of the time is to reconnect you to the brain uh, computer interface or whatever you want to call it, or EEG or remote neural monitoring. To connect you to that remote neural monitoring, they need a reaction. They need to applaud you for a reaction. Even arguing online can be data logged in. Um, Now, for instance, somebody sent a good comment the other day, and this is very true right here. And he said, 100%. They don't get a verified response via pain, stimuli, phosphenes, chatbots, street theater. They will project neighbors and anyone known to the target. Indirection also to further isolate the target as the target suspiciously confronts these people thinking they have been utilized. This, of course, causes those same neighbors to be. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the neighbor thing. I'm just saying they have to keep probing you for responses all through the day to keep you hooked to the machine or computer. See, there's an AI computer. Then the AI computer sends signals to a multiplexer. So the AI computer's got its list of profiles of brain signatures, DNA, whatever they're hitting you with. It's got a list. It sends signals to a multiplexer, which bounces signals through towers and all that. It's a computer multiplexer and AI doing the targeting, but the signals it's piggybacked off. They use all kinds of stuff to send these signals, cell phone towers, all that. So I'm just saying this is hard to explain here. I'm just trying to let y'all get a. I do not want people to think that this has to be done with something inside them because that's misinformation. It does not. And I'm going to prove it in a second. Okay, blows a glim. Here's some effects that could be from exposure to direct energy. Many of the symptoms mirror those of organic disorders. So this is I'm going to get to the patents and the good information that you need to know next. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is just breaking down symptoms and vitamins and stuff to take and precautions to take as a TI. Okay. And then I'm going to get into the information. I just want to get into the positive, proactive stuff first. And then people who want to hear the information can skip to it. And I may do this in two parts. Okay. Headache, head pressure, tinnitus that comes and goes, not constant tinnitus, but tinnitus that comes and goes. Now, because you got to understand, tinnitus that comes and goes is more than likely direct energy weapon attacks, remote neural attacks. And that's why I have ear popping and stuff and ringing and a little fluttering throughout the day, off and on. And you don't have to cup your hands over your ears to hear tonight. Real tinnitus from direct energy weapons does not take, you cannot hear it cupping your hands over your ears. Sure, you can, if you have tinnitus, of course, I'm sure it would do something, but it can also be earwax buildup in your ears when you cup your hand over your ears and hear it. You shouldn't need to cup your hand over your ears if you're being hit with remote neural monitor attacks, direct energy attacks, because you're going to hear it without having to do any of that. Okay, head pressure, memory loss, eye floaters, vision problems, high pitched tone in the ear, you're being scanned. If you got a high pitched tone in your ear, you're being scanned. Red, burning ear, sudden ear drop in one ear, you're being scanned. See, I get that all the time. If you start, you know how you'll get that ringing in your ear and one ear will go where it's not hearing nothing? I get it all the time. Or a high pitched tone in your ear, you're being scanned. Curdling, cramping of toes or fingers, sphincter muscle control, joint pain, tremors, panic attacks, runaway adrenal attack. See, a lot of the first stage stalking and stuff causes fight or flight so long your adrenal glands burn out and it messes your cortisol levels up and your thyroid up. Okay, pins and needle sensation, hair raising on the back of the neck, base of skull, burning sensation, bee sting sensation, itching without a cause, vibration, buzzing sensations, buzzing in rear occipital skull, regardless of income radio signal. This is a documented phenomena. Noise sensitivity, that's a big one. Tooth tingling, nerve sensitivity, sleeping hands or limbs, crook or stiff neck, butterflies in chest, stomach, referred pain, induced aggression like sham rage in cats, acute, quick onset depressive episodes, urge to urinate, urge to defecate, irritable bowel, spastic colon, nausea, sleep disruption, sleepiness, fatigue, yawning attack, chest pain, racing heart, sneezing attack, heating, early heating, core temperature, early area of military research on lethality openly documented, atrophy of muscles, muscle pain, muscle jerks and twitching, especially when falling asleep, muscle stasis, muscle tissues can be tendinous, priapism in males, priapism. And what is priapism? Priapism. A, we don't, you can look that up on your own. Erection problems, sexual stimulation, sexual orientation manipulation, documented. Amplification of a present pain, health disorder, addictive tendency, influence manipulation of natural thought direction, voice the skull, subliminal silent sound, thyroid disease, pancreatitis, diabetes, all that. Disorders without a definitive link to electromagnetic radiation exposures, but which warrant attention and research include SIDS, autism, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Time will give witnesses that knowledge exists on how to destroy specific types of neurological tissue via direct energy. The knowledge exists for other types of tissue, so there's no reason to believe it doesn't exist for neurological tissue. You can be in perfect health, as documented by a physical checkup, and still experience all the above listed effects when exposed to various forms and intensity of direct energy. An individual should be suspicious if they experience painful symptoms where they elicit underlying causes that cannot be determined, and when the symptoms stop anytime you move your body to a new position or position yourself behind any material. That's so I take that back. You can shield, but they're going to find ways. Once you find something to shield, it's automatically going to figure out your shielding, and it'll take a while, maybe some cases, but that will change the frequency on you. So that's why I kind of said that about shielding. Um, Now, there are ways. You got stun gun EMP constantly, heavy metal detox constantly, plenty of water. Garlic is a good heavy metal detox. There's plenty of stuff to do. Exercise is important. But what I'm saying is there's a thing you can do, heavy metal detox, a good organite pendant along with it. Never hurts. So you got to do a number of things all the time. Exercise. There's things I do daily. Eat garlic first thing in the morning. I'm not going to tell my routine, but I'm sure the computer already knows it. But exercise, uh, stun gun EMP, organite pendant, all that stuff constantly. But the important thing is to get the metals out of your body. And the individual suspicious if they experience painful system whereby illicit unlawful cannot be determined. And when the symptom stops, anytime you move your, if the symptom stops temporarily as you relocate, but then resumes to manifest itself, you may be experienced targeting by dues. The symptoms cease momentarily because you move out of the path of the energy. One way to test this is to sit in relaxed state in a rocking chair without movement. If the symptoms manifest itself, start to rock the chair without moving or touching the affected region. If the symptom stops, it could suggest direct energy is a culprit. Actually, you could forego the rocking chair and simply turn your head to the side 90 degrees, touch your ear to the shoulder. I don't know the physics. Anyway, anyways, at some point in time, a victim would consider contacting law enforcement. I don't have definite position on this matter. Filing a report with law enforcement could go one of two ways, neutral or bad. By neutral, I mean reports filed on incidents, you go on about your day. This will not slow or stop harassment one bit. And by bad, I mean officer involved could press the process of casting down on your claims, which you could find you in a tight spot if you do not choose words wisely. You don't want to be put in a holding tank for 72 hours observation. If you do choose to file a report, it would be best to have a trusted friend present when filing. Be calm, concise, intelligent when arguing your statement to the officer. Be sure you're of sound mind and have a friend, family member, professional contact that can attest to your sound state of mind. Be absolutely sure that you never convey information that could be perceived as possibly harmful to yourself or others. At the very best, all this process will achieve is to create a documented record, also act as one more voice added to the proof of voices claiming these assault campaigns do exist, as well as the city blotter adding record. Now, I'm going to be showing you a video soon of Poland, a court hearing in Poland where they're saying electromagnetic weapons and they're standing up in Poland. But this is an old report, but still, this is a very good report. One of the best I've seen written yet. Most so-called DO attacks are most likely not directed beam or laser, but extremely low frequency radio broadcasts that's been modulated into waveforms that mimic pain, sound, or actual physiological processes of the body. For example, sciatic nerve pain could be broadcast as radio waves that are received and interpreted by the brain as the pain in the legs of a victim. The victim may believe a beam is being directed at their legs or torso, when actually it's being received and processed by the brain like a cell phone picking up radio signals. The ancient LIDA machine was one of the first forays into manipulating the body through brain-directed radio signals. This technology is much more advanced nowadays. Now, this person says, I'm not a licensed physician. I'm not a fitness nut, but common sense has told me that I would have to adjust my lifestyle choices around the daily electromagnetic exposure that I'm subjected to. The following list offers some idea on how one could supplement their lifestyle. They're sure they're being targeted. Vitamin D, beneficial in many aspects beyond just bone health. Electromagnetic effects on metabolism on the colon may cause reduced vitamin D absorption. Some individuals, and I'm not a licensed physician, nor do I claim to be a medical professional. I'm not a doctor or nothing like this. I'm reading an article. That's all. I'm not giving advice for, I'm just telling you what works, what has worked for this person and what works for me. Okay. And I'll tell you the stuff that I don't do and I don't know what if it works or not. Okay. Okay. A beneficial and okay. Also, some individual may retract from outdoor activities once stalking campaigns ensue. Vitamin D something may be beneficial, and you got to and it's so if you're stay in most of the time, vitamin D is very beneficial because you're not getting out in the sun. So, but you should get your vitamin D from the sun. Magnesium, vital component in the vitamin D metabolism, may mitigate anxiousness observed in some cases of vitamin D therapy. Potassium, an essential vitamin absorbed through the lipid channel colon, so consuming this with something that contains fats recommended. Vitamin B complex beneficial for energy. Electromagnetic effects from colon may reduce vitamin B absorption. Uh, I take vitamin B complex and it helps. This one says aspirin, uh, vitamin A, and I'm okay. So I only take this a day or two after experiencing food contamination system, which is a probiotics, which this and they claim that aspirin will help against blood thickening effects of some forms of electromagnetic radiation, and it may reduce the chances of heart attack and stroke. Okay, vitamin C is important. Carnitine and glucosamine may be beneficial to joint tissue. Chamomile, 5-HTP may be beneficial to the mood for some individuals. And chamomile may act as a mild natural sedative. Iodine can help with your thyroid gland. Activated charcoal diatomaceous earth. Uh, Exercise whenever possible at a location where you're not likely to be zapped in the adrenal cortex, kidneys, or heart or muscle. Water, take half your body weight in pounds, convert it directly to ounces. This at least is how much water you consume. So a 200-pound would benefit from drinking 100 ounces a day. Recommended water filtration if you can. Over-the-counter sleep aid, not to use 3 continuous nights in a row is not recommended. Alcoholic beverage. So when you use Ativan, uh, benzols or any that's called chemical shielding. All it does is it does not block the effects. It 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 negates the side effects of the radiation or the weapon you're being hit with. The neural whatever the radio waves, radio frequency you're being hit with, it negates the side effects. So that's why it works with that. Um, okay, limit medications if you're a target of organized stalking, electronic. If you take any medication, you're a victim. You need to be aware that direct energy can modify the intended effects of medicine. There's research evidence that direct energy to the right frequency may amplify or reduce the efficacy of some chemicals. Like you hear people saying, "Well, man, I drank all day, all night, and couldn't get drunk no more. I can't." That I've heard that that's possible. Um, that they have made. I've heard many targets say that they can't get drunk no more. They don't feel the effects of alcohol no more because of something that was done to them. Uh, All right, this person says there's research that direct energy of the right foot man. Okay, um, I'm not gonna read that because of censorship. But throw away all open or unsealed food stuff after a burglary break-in. Everything if you feel suspicious that someone may have entered your home, throw away all food items that unsealed. Inspect apparently sealed containers for signs of tamper. You know how that is. I mean, I know me and many people have told stories of just emptying out everything in your house and just buying food to go as you go throughout the day or when you come home after work or whatever. Or if you're not working, just buy food as you go because when you leave your house, you know, uh, it can be tampered with. Try buying food items in individual packet sizes, sugar, salt. Get smaller container sizes that will be consumed over a shorter duration of time. Start buying bottled water. Documentation of administration through micro. Okay, where untraceable dose of drug can be amplified many times to a level that has potent clinical drug effects when specific directed energy frequencies are applied on the targeted subject. Consider if you had a large container of salt that was tampered with, whereby you would unknowingly be self-dosing yourself over a long period of time. Red burning ear syndrome, this person says, which I began experiencing, went away shortly after taking these measures. Another thing that helps, turkey tail mushroom extract. Now, what started helping me with my direct energy attacks, I'm not lying, is Aprotropic Smart Drops. Okay, these are adaptogen and mushrooms. There's 5 different ones you got in that bottle, and you take one dropper uh, every morning. Now we haven't had none in a long time because it's expensive, but it worked, and I was getting vibrated. I reached out to many targets, vibrated so bad, and then I would think the couch was mapped off, so I'd lay on the floor and it'd get worse, and I'd stay nauseated and burning all day. And boy, when I started taking them adaptogen and mushrooms, no lie, uh, and kept it under my tongue once a day. Um, After a while, what I found was uh, my vibrations and my sensitivity to these weapons um, uh, weren't as great. And what I read is they say that turkey tail and other mushrooms like turkey tail has been used. They say turkey tail was used back in the day, and what it does is it. Now, I'm not giving advice or saying this is from my research. From what it does is there's been studies that show that it can repair cells damaged by radiation from chemo. So common sense is if you're being hit with electromagnetic radiation, that's probably and a lot of like I don't know. Anyway, I've seen a lot of people have success over this. We recommended it to a friend of ours and who was going through treatments like that, and it helped them through it. Um, but yeah, so it repairs cells damaged by radiation, turkey tail alone. But you got to look, it's got lion's mane, reishi mushroom, shiitake mushroom, cordyceps mushroom, uh, turkey tail mushroom. So, um, but it's expensive. But if you're getting mushroom extract, you don't want to buy cheap stuff because there's a lot of fake. You always want to get it third party tested, and you want to get it from fruiting bodies. Make sure it comes from fruiting bodies. Aprotropic Smart Drops is good. And what it did was my vibrations and nausea and all that cut almost in half. And I still got shocked and vibrated. Don't get me wrong, but 75% of the effects, the heaviness of the power of it was gone. Um, so anyway, now I manage other ways, but if I could ever get my hand on Aprotropic Smart Drops again, I will. But I just can't afford it right now. We're trying to feed cats, feral cats, and we're struggling real big to real bad right now. So can't get the stuff we want. And it just happens that way sometimes. Now, it's good to keep multivitamins. Okay, security. The security requirements for a target individual are quite different from the average person. One is dealing with offenders whose resources span law enforcement, military, intelligence agency types. If a disruption entry is in order, there's not much you can do to prevent it. Therefore, your security should be geared more towards detection evidence of physical tampering rather than entry prevention. So the advice given here is not really aimed at deterring a conventional burglary, but aimed at detecting potential burglary. Conventional and alternative security measures are discussed below. The crux of organized stalking campaigns is to maintain an undetectable state. This means breaking and entering is no-go unless they can remove the breaking aspect, and then it's a go. So the key point I will stress here is that you should set up security in a fashion that would show physical evidence if any tampering has occurred. If there's physical evidence, there's a crime. For the crime, becomes a record, and the record is a cardinal sin for these offenders. For them, it's all about going undetected. With that said, some of the things I'll present are quite simple and low-tech and actually ancient in some respects. First, I'm going to present some conventional security information, much of which is fairly obvious. More of the same is not necessarily better. Diversify. 2 locks on the door. All the same style may be defeated by a similar attack. 2 different styles of lock requires 2 different modes of attack. Some non-branded. Chinese-made security blocks could possibly provide better security than a big-name common product by way of being novel and obscure, and therein presenting more hoops for offender to hop through when trying to find schematics, code keys, or additional information that might allow them to circumvent the security device. This would represent a beneficial instance of something being lost in translation. The more diverse your security arrangement is, the less likely it is to be wholly defeated. Even if the offender is so adept they can detect and defeat everything you throw at them, you may rest assured that you will have at least slowed them down and maybe even prevented them from carrying out their full objective. The most advanced security technology can't replace having feet on the ground, human or canine. I believe there are 4 primary reasons for the subject agent's entries into a target home. Survey and observe what's going on in your home. Surveillance setup, psyop effects, and food, water, chemical tampering, and maybe to get your DNA. But yeah, psyop effects, surveillance setup, survey and observe what's going on in your home. Awesome breakdown. As a target individual, your security options are limited. Through this, you should not preclude you taking other recommended security measures because all of us are still susceptible to common burglary. The following items may be more applicable to those who are targeted. High-end locks. A keyed lock, padlock for your door's exterior. These locks should cost a few $100 or more. Research them beforehand. At a minimum, buy a high-rated lock off Amazon, and you know, that's up to you. Some people's Amazons are tampered with. A lot of Target's Amazon, so go to the store, but don't get no cheap locks. Concealed cameras. Also, now they got stuff you can put in front of the doors to prevent them get kicked. They got. If you go on Amazon, they got these things that you 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 pull your door off the hinge, and you put a set of screws on one side, a set of screw right there, and it puts this thing in here like 3-inch screws. Then you got a whole bar that slides over your door. You see what I'm saying? So it's like putting a bar in a door to keep it from being opened. Uh, you know, if you're that worried, get that much security. They also got new locks. They're not like a door latch with the chain, but it just you put two and 3/4 inch screws in the door panel. Then you put the lock on, and I'll have to show you if you'd like. I could try to find it and send it to you, and then you just close it over the door, and it keeps the door from being open. There's also film that goes over glass. So there's film you can buy now. You put over your glass, both sides, and if a burglar breaks the glass, it'll break, but he won't get it through. It'll take forever to get through that film. So anyway, concealed cameras. Use multiple concealed or hidden cameras throughout your decimal. Early hint you're being surveilled. It'd be best if you provide the funds, details for acquisition and purchase. Discreetly deliver these items to your person. These should be quickly positioned and installed. At some point, the offenders may set up surveillance around or within your home. Detecting this new age technology is virtually impossible unless you're lucky or spend good money for a professional survey. Now, cameras can be tampered with, but they're good to have because sometimes you will catch stuff. Okay. Um, um, they also have smart glasses that take pictures. Now, I don't know enough of. I haven't done my research on smart glasses. Uh, I have a pair. I haven't hooked them up, but so somebody gave them to me as a gift. But so I don't know. I haven't done my research on them, but I would say smart glasses, if they're not dangerous in some kind of new world order way, which I'm sure they are. So that's why I haven't. If I've not researched it, I'm going to tell you. I have not researched. I'm sure it can be used to biometric data, get your eye scan or something. I don't know if it can or not. I haven't done the research, so I don't want to recommend that to you. But a dash cam, stuff like that. Sometimes low tech goodies. Sometimes maybe you want to know if someone entered or traveled the area. I won't give away my personal techniques, but I will send you imagination with a couple examples. Use visible fluorescent dust on steps or handles. Loosely place a low lying hair wire or microfiber across a walkway or doorway. A passerby will unknowingly dislodge the fiber from its anchors. Be creative and practical. Novel, unconventional techniques are a great way to defeat conventionally trained types who think they're a god. Now, what you want to do if you use any of this stuff, tape that can break, that can show that the door's been broke into, or you set one of these traps. Take a picture of the trap. That way, when it's set off, if you do file a report or you do decide you want to do that and take a chance, you got something to say. Hey, look, I took a picture of it before when I set it. Now look at it. I have not messed with it. A wax seal. Let's see what they're saying about this. I didn't read this. I must have missed this one. This is an ancient tried and true method. In place of wax, use plasti dip or great stuff foam on padlocks of seams, doors, or containers, especially containers of a security camera. Note, unless you have a high-end padlock, it could be shimmed and opened without any sign of tampering. So you want to cover the area where the U-bolts enter into the lock. You may want to put a small piece of tape over the keyhole before dipping a padlock into plastic dip or great stuff. You may want to tape off all surface area that will contact the foam for it's hard to remove. This material should be embellished with other security tape strings, labels, marks, fingerprints, or a uniquely identifying material so it cannot be removed and replaced with a replica of your original stamp coating design. Be practical and creative. The point here is detection of tampering. The method is only as good as uniqueness. If you leave this page with anything to heed, it should be this advice at a minimum. Single entry. Wait, only one door should be accessible with a key from the home exterior, and the door should be very visible to neighbors and public. This door should be brightly lighted consistently each evening, preferably battery backup so it potentially pique interest from neighbors in the event that the light is tampered with or turned off at night. Place some type of eye-catching item, really small, known as strobe light in the vicinity of this door when you're away from home. This will continue to attract attention and intentional glance from neighboring passing eyes. Posting. Post a discreet, classy reward sign somewhere on your property for the capture and prosecution of anyone found tampering with or attempting to burglarize your property. This posting will sit in back memory of neighbors or those who observed it and will subconsciously draw more attention. Trash. Don't discard your trash with a contained bag. Empty your trash in free form, allowing it to mix with other refuse. The following material or conventional aspect don't particularly benefit target individuals. Right. Oh, the following material is more conventional in aspect and doesn't particularly benefit target individuals. Also, mail. If you get mail, shred it up, rip it up. If you live in a popular neighborhood, the offender may attempt entry at least conspicuous with simply to the front door of the garage. One technique can be used to offenders to have a large vehicle parked in front of your property in order to obscure your neighbor's line of sight. Look around your property, determine which areas you would choose if you were a burglar. After determining these locations, and place some obstacles. If you live in a rural location, you'll need more strategic deterrence. And this could go for anybody. Door hinges should not be exposed to the exterior. Doors should be windowless. The strong door lock, a strongest door and lock in the world is only as secure as the frame and jam that envelope it. I recommend the use of both high-end key lock, high-end padlock for your door exterior, along with an interior side-only key deadbolt. Knowledge on how to defeat these high-end locks eventually evolved. So the same model that are esteemed high time, these will be the best physical deterrent that I can recommend. Another way to secure your door is you take your door off the hinges, and if you've got 1 inch screws or 2 inch screws, you upgrade to 3 inch screws in the hinges. Home alarm system. These will be defeated, but I will mention them on preventive detecting burglars. Wireless systems may seem high tech and cool, but they can be defeated via frequency jammers. Hardwired units for backup uninterrupted power supply is preferable. When using keypads or combination, use confusion dummy sequences while only depressing the actual combination key codes. Heat signatures should be read on the touch keys with IR, and the unique frequency to individuals can be sniffed out with remote RF scanners. Argent mesh shielding could be explored in these situations. Infrared wireless sensors can be jammed. Laser, acoustic, compression, fiber optic systems may be a better alternative. Windows. Keep blinds drawn when away from home. Install a screw or stick into window jambs to prevent them from being slid open. Even if the glass is broken, use security film, laminated reinforced glass. Hardwired sensors are preferable to that of wireless. Be prepared for a plan of action in event of fire. So there's all kinds of ways there's also these alarms you can put where if somebody opens the window, it sends alarms off. If somebody opens the door, it sends an alarm off. So there's a bunch of different ways, and you can put these all around your house. So if somebody cracks a window, if you think somebody's coming in through your window, you put alarms on all your windows. And if somebody opens that window, it sends a piercing noise all throughout the house. And you can even program them now to send them to people so they can call and check on you and see if you're all right. Um, I recommend those. Motion lighting may be beneficial, but note that infrared sensors can be jammed. Timed indoor light system may be a full but target individuals pointless. They already know whether you're home or not. Hardwired cameras should be placed at the steering corner locations. They should capture areas of the main entranceways. Wireless cameras are susceptible to signal jammers. Connect cameras to a DVR hardwired computer that can either store the footage or relay the footage over the internet to the internet or phone. Utilize dummy cameras along with real cameras. Use concealed or hidden cameras. Utilize a wild game hunter nanny motion camera. Booby traps, illegal. Yes, they are illegal. If you insist on breaking the law, you may have to let the jury decide whether the real criminal is you or yourself, or the burglar pig who lost his eye from an attenuated 12-gauge birdshot on tripwire. Oh yeah, it's still illegal. We're not recommending that. Uh, car alarms. Okay, let's go. Uh, okay, information technology. Okay, here we go. Computers. Protecting your information activity on a computer is increasingly difficult and diva, but regardless, you should attempt to harden your security systems. I will be this week. I'm in touch with somebody that's going to show me to show y'all how to set up a computer properly to do the best security you can. And it can be. I'm going to show you how to check your registry and see if you have a virus and how to get rid of it. There's a way you can check your registry when you set up a computer. You go to your registry editor. You take a picture of your registry editor, and then anytime your computer's running slow or something, you go back and look and see if there's another file in here. Um, Here, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about while I'm sharing the screen. Here, I got my registry editor already up. See, I got it shortcut. So look, so okay, so you see these three things right here are normal. Okay, so so you take a picture of that. So say I set my computer up and get to the registry editor, and if you want to know how to get to it, email me. I'll tell you how to get to it. Okay. So look, I got three files there. So if there's any more files there, chances are, and my computer's acting up, chances are, because that's where viruses go mostly, is to your registry editor. If you have a virus, it'll be in your registry editor and it'll show up. But you got to keep up with what was already there and what wasn't. Okay. And you can put a shortcut to go right to it and check it like I do. Okay, verify your software. Now I'm sure they've got stuff that runs in the back. Like they're in my Zoom. They make me I cannot change my back. Sometimes they have that jade helm thing. Sometimes they got the grass. But I used to have all kinds of stuff I could choose from. I don't have nothing to choose from now. They choose it for me. And so they're in my Zoom big time. Uh, Verify. So matter of fact, I have to change my password almost every day. Verify your software with check them or hashes. The only people who really know of proprietary application as the backdoor of the feds and application authors. Use keyboard, hard drive encryption software. Use a robust and antivirus program. Use a robust firewall. Use a virtual sandbox application. Utilize virtual operating systems when perform risky or private tasks. Use proxy chaining or just a simple proxy. Use encryption software, encrypted email services, spoof MAC addresses, use privacy browsers, download material on a separate computer, scan and transfer your own applications that are relevant today. All right, we're gonna okay, application. So there's a way you can access your BIOS, and you got to go in your BIOS and turn stuff off. For instance, you can turn off in your BIOS, but you can't lose the password to the BIOS if you create a password to your BIOS, or you won't be able to access it and change nothing back. But you can change it where people can't put a jump drive in and load up programming to your computer. You can change it. You can cut off remote access to your computer. Now, if you need Microsoft or somebody to fix your computer remotely, you won't be able to get it because you turn that access off. You can make it where your computer cannot be accessed remotely. Uh and there's other stuff you do too. Like I'm hoping I can get her on to explain because she showed me how to set mine up. Now, if you go on porn sites or whatever, clicking links and you click a bad link and get hacked, that's on you. But there's backdoors in the computer depending on who's targeting you and how serious it is. And I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Okay. Jailbreaker rooted phones may afford better security for those who know what they're doing. Install a good antivirus fire program. You can find many of the same. Be aware that your device can be tapped into remotely by RF sniffers. The keys you press and images on your screen all emit unique frequencies be scanned remotely and reconfigured. It's not conspiracy. This is simple science behind real technology available to intelligence personnel. Use something like Argent Mesh may attenuate the signals your device emits when it's draped over your device. Okay, let's see. The self. Be prepared to protect yourself should you encounter a threat to your self well being. The best defense is to talk about yourself out of a situation, such as I've successfully done for the past 25 years. That's what this person says. Self defense courses could be beneficial and showing bodies how to expose pressure points by use of strike and holds. Weapons can be grouped into three basic categories: blunt force, cutting force, projectiles. Blades, glove, gun. All three categories can compromise lethal and non-lethal effects. I would recommend everyone have at least one non-lethal and one lethal tool at their disposal. I would recommend the following items to meet the needs of every category. Pepper spray, non-lethal pepper spray in a combat canister. They got something called a pepper blaster. It's a mace gun. Um, um, they got all kinds of stuff. Mace guns. Dude was telling me about this uh, um, this gun they sell now that shoots these metal balls. And he said that the other day he tested one out and he put two paint cloths, drop cloths, hung them up in front of each other and shot a hole through them. 50 cal metal bullet, and they're legal for self defense. Telescopic collapsible baton, not a means of physically defending yourself. A blade, lethal men, uh, you know, I would recommend gunsling. We're gonna pass all that because it's common sense when you're using what you can use for protection. Some people can have tasers, some people can't. Some people can have pepper spray. If somebody's putting your life directly in danger and you're fixing to die or they're trying to kill you, yes, you got to defend yourself. But don't go looking for trouble. You see what this person said? This person said, be prepared to protect yourself should you ever encounter a threat to your self well-being. The best defense is to talk yourself out of a situation such as that, because a lot of times they're just trying to provoke you anyway to get you in trouble. Okay, this is shielding. This is what works for this person. Okay, aim here is to provide victims, and I may not be able to get to the video I want to get to, the part I want to get to, till tomorrow because I tried to cover this advice first. So I'm sorry that I didn't realize it was going to take this long. Okay. So, uh, I guess I might make 3 parts out of this. So tomorrow I'm going to get on the shielding thing because I'm fixing to end the video right now. I didn't realize, like I said, I did not realize it was going to take this long with this information. But like I said, this is going to be some good information once I get to it. So tomorrow, what I'm going to do is start with the information that I intended to bring y'all today, and then get into shielding. Okay. But I have told y'all. All right. Um, if you've seen how to beat my video called "How to Beat Remote Neural What is Remote Neural Monitor and How to Beat It," that's part of the way you throw off this brain neurosignature. So music, but you want the music louder than the V2K or the music louder than the stimulus. So, uh, David Wilkerson sermons will deconstruct. Reading the Bible, deconstruct. There's certain things you just got to find your stuff, like music, listen to constantly can deconstruct uh, years of brain entrainment. Um, and see, they don't want you to know this. They want you to think that you got an implant, it's hopeless. And I'm not saying you don't. Some people do. What I'm saying is they want you to think that it's hopeless, but it's not. There's ways to throw it off, okay? Um, but like I said, I'm going to get into more of that tomorrow after I read the information I had for you today. And I apologize that I did not get into it. Let me see. I wanted to. Okay. I wanted to show this to y'all first.
Posiada strategię wobec nielegalnych badań.
Okay, this says
Polskie posiada strategię wobec nielegalnych badań, to znaczy
the Minister of National Defense spoke about the dangers. Other those Poland have a strategy in regards to legal experiments. That means testing of electromagnetic weapons on Polish citizens. Right now, we're going to do analysis to identify where people who complain of such ailments and situation are located. So this is going on everywhere. Everybody's talking about this. Now, I think in about 6 months, I may be able to tell you more in regards to these matters. Now, this came out from the limited information I've received. The regions of Southwest, Northwest Poland are where most of the complaints are coming from. I'm just showing you that. Minister of National didn't specify which commission will prepare the report on experimental use of electromagnetic weapons against Polish citizens. So you know what I'm going to do. I just came to my mind to research that. and see what the Polish have to say about this. Now, I may have to do some translating, but I will do that. But please bear with me. I just want to show y'all um, that all this stuff is very possible without having anything in your body. And but that don't mean you shouldn't try to block, shield yourself, or do anything uh, different, you know. But the remote neural monitoring stuff is very important. So um, anytime you think you're being affected by, if you're not anybody who's being affected in in ways like heterodyning remote neural attacks, because there's a difference between remote neural monitoring and remote neural attacks. Okay, so they can attack you remotely, and remote neural attacks is attack using your own brain against you, basically, with frequencies. Okay, so multitasking, quenching, redirection, um, spontaneity, um, active memory. If you can learn how to read active memory, and it's hard to explain. I'm gonna try to figure out how to explain it tomorrow. Please tune in tomorrow because this it's going to be very important. I'm also going to be talking about a program that DHS uses to Department of Homeland Security has had around for I'd say 2 decades. Where if you go in an airport, it reads your emotional state. It knows, it reads everything about you. It knows your emotional state, knows if you've got bad intentions, whatever. If the computer sets off an alert that you got bad intentions, or that your emotional state is nervous, anxious, anything like that, then alerts are sent to follow you and be watched around airports. That's why airports are so heavy for targets, because the target's already nervous when he walks through that airport. And this is coming from, I've talked to two different people who used to work at airports, who are TIs, who told me this information is real, and I looked it up. And I'm going to be sharing that information tomorrow and my studies on it, and also going to be sharing this information about all these patents and stuff, and what's really going on. And this is one of the best articles, well put. And I wish I could have had more time to get into it today, but I didn't. So God bless y'all. Thank you for listening. I hope this helps somebody. I did not intend for it to be a video like this, but I figured I wanted to get the positive stuff out of the way before I get to the information, which could be because you even, you know, you're not see, somebody said, well, if you tell people they ain't got implants, they'll just get learned helplessness and they'll be helpless. You're not helpless. If they're beaming your brain and targeting you that way, you're not helpless. There's ways to beat it, and I'm going to be talking about it very heavy, almost, and I'm going to try to talk about it in almost every episode, and focus on positive, proactive stuff on how to defeat this technology and how to manage when you're being stalked, going through these psyops. I talked to a target. I'm fixing to have to call him, matter of fact, which is why I got to get off here. I'm not going to say his name, but first stages of stalking, terrified, uh, driving around the country, and you know, uh, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get into it anyway. So this stuff is, so there's all kinds of angles of stuff. So when you learn how to manage the weapons, then you got to learn how to deal with the psychological operations being done against you. Another thing, remind me to, if I haven't done it by next week, to do the video on cues in programming and how to defeat them. Okay, I have so much stuff. I need to get organized and get a notebook. I'm also going to be redoing my YouTube channel. Uh, I'm not going to be changing the name or nothing, but I'm going to be putting, I've got 800 videos. There's a lot of good videos. I guarantee you good information that y'all haven't seen because they're buried. So I'm going to be putting videos in playlists and titles, and that way y'all can just go, okay, I want to see something on mind control. I want to know about chemtrails and Morgellons. I want to know about DNA targeting. So I've got videos on all that stuff. Especially my first videos was good information. It's just I was just now getting started, and it was a slow start. And I've been doing this for 3.5 years now. Longer than that, because in 2018 I had 3 different YouTube channels because they kept getting hacked and I was homeless and running around targeted. I have them videos as well. Thinking about posting them and putting them in a playlist as well. I even found a YouTube video I did in 2015, uh, I didn't know I was targeted at the time, but if you listen, I was talking about in the video how Cain and Abel, and where they really came from, and how they were, and how the serpent is Cain's dad. Anyway, and I broke it down in a video and was going to start a YouTube video, um, talking about lost books of the Bible and the Bible and stuff like that. But in that video, I tell people, uh, I'm being smear campaign. I didn't know what a target was. In this 2015, I didn't find out till 2018. But in the video, I still have the video. I'm thinking about posting it. I'm talking about how they're spreading rumors about me and how I'm hated everywhere I go and blacklisted. Needless that I know what was really going on, you know. So I found that video too. That was from 2015. So anyway, God bless all targets. And I'm sorry that I didn't get to the information today, and I hope this helps somebody.